And it's very funny that Jump is bringing in Kubo and trading out Kishimoto because Samurai 8 has officially come to an end of the most recent issue of Shonen Jump. It ends with chapter 43 and with its 5th volume that will be out in Japan in May and here in the US probably based on the schedule next January. But yeah.
Oh boy.
Samurai 8, it was given a huge promotional push. They really hyped it up. They released 2 volumes at once in Japan and gave it a big marketing push and big first printing. It did not perform. It has not caught on with a significant audience. There are diehard fans who are definitely very disappointed that the series is ending. But alas, Kishimoto was not able to strike the iron twice. He did not produce a hit with Samurai 8. He might want to stick with ninjas instead of samurai.
Oh boy, this is, as much as I kind of lost interest in Samurai 8, I feel really bad for Kishimoto because it really sounded like, from what we had been hearing of this project, like all the way back at like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere in that ballpark, like it really sounded like he was really working hard on and just putting his heart into developing this world and everything. You could tell I feel like Samurai 8 had interesting ideas, but I don't know, I think I dropped the series around 17 chapters in. Even 17 chapters in, it still just felt like more than half the series was just a lot of exposition that I just got really bored of reading. I don't know, I've heard a lot of mixed things about it since I've dropped it. Like you mentioned, I know there are there are at least a handful of diehard fans out there who are very, very desperate to keep this going, but unfortunately, that's just not the case because, yeah, like we said, by the time you're listening to this, it'll have ended. I can only hope that maybe it'll do better out here in the West than it did over in Japan. Maybe?
Well, Viz was certainly pushing for it, considering that they were going to release a free comic book day sampler with Samurai 8 and Naruto this year, and the fact that they were going to be releasing the first volume this month, they've already released it. I think they were expecting this to be a hit because it was Kishimoto, but alas, that did not prove to be the case. And indeed, Samurai 8's biggest problem is definitely it was Kishimoto's passion project. He worked on this for a long time. He had a lot of ideas. The problem is that he spent a lot of time just talking about all his ideas in the manga instead of doing things with the characters early on. And it was consistently a problem up until even the most recent chapters of the story, that there was a lot of lore dumps, a lot of chapters just spent on characters talking about ideas. It was just not that compelling. You wanted more character arcs, more really interesting character relationships and development and stuff like that. Instead, Kishimoto really emphasized lore and world building in the series to its detriment.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff can be interesting, but like I said, this is the problem I have with some manga, is that your world building and lore can be super interesting and everything, but if I don't have interesting characters to follow or that I want to follow personally, I don't know. I just can't get into certain series.
Well, Kishimoto definitely wanted to challenge himself with the series, and definitely he was playing around with a lot of new and interesting ideas, but he lost focus of what people really like about Naruto, which is the characters.
Exactly.
And they were invested in the characters and their struggles, and not so much the entire lore of the ninja world. That wasn't as big a focus of early Naruto as it would be later on, and unfortunately, Samurai 8 front-loaded that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they also expected Samurai 8 was going to be, a hit. I am rereading an interview they did with the editor of the series, and, it's very sad to read this in retrospect of, all the high hopes they had for it.
Oh, man.
That, unfortunately have not worked out. And definitely, up until the recent chapters, I don't think Kishimoto was expecting the series to end prematurely, considering that he introduced more new characters and more new lore, and then the last couple chapters have really rushed to a conclusion. So it's very unfortunate.
Well, I'll end it here with two things. One, if Kishimoto comes out with another work anytime soon, like, I'm still willing to read his stuff because I know he's despite everything with Samurai 8, I know that he's still a capable writer, and I know he's capable of making good stuff. So I'm still willing to, read anything new that he might happen to do in the future. Two, this will make a really interesting episode of our canceled podcast series, our canceled manga podcast that we usually do. So I can't wait to eventually talk about this in a full episode.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an interesting case study. Like, the creator of one of the most successful franchises in anime history, his follow-up did not catch fire. That's going to be interesting to explore.
Oh yeah.